Oh, hello. It seems we have a guest. Whatever can I do for you, stranger? Oh, you're curious about my little world down there. I guess I can tell you a little about it. Let's start with its people. They shape the world down there, almost as much as I do. Let us see. Oh, you'll surely find this little Spitfire entertaining. He's a fire pixie, one of my world's many wonders. Name Quinn Plasmid. Race fire elemental pixie. Sex male. Age 17. Height childlike. Build athletic. Magic class fire affinity. Occupation the Hat Oceanbound Restaurant Cafe. Cook. Affiliations Hat Club, Drama Club, Yuki Club, Plasmid Clan. Family Zestia Plasmid mother, Saul Plasmid father. Relationships Caleb Sickle boyfriend, Elias Everett best friend, Wella Geneva close friend, Neville Luminary boss, Samuel Hitup former boss. Overview Quinn Plasmid is a fire elemental pixie. From Primeverse 2, he grew up in the midst of a bloody war between two families, but instead of letting it cloud his outlook on life, he followed his heart. This has led him to a strong relationship with Caleb Sickle and allowed him to embrace his passion for cooking. Quinn is a staunch supporter of the ocean-bound community and can be seen breaking up protests as often as he's seen behind the hat's counter. Background: Quinn was born to loving and supportive parents. He had a common pixie birth defect that stunted his growth. Despite this, he loved exploring the Plasmid family's massive garden, where he often played games with the sprites. His parents warned him away from the north wall of the property. However, beyond that wall lived the Sickle family, ice elemental pixies. The Plasmids hated the Sickles and had been feuding with them for centuries over land ownership, elemental superiority, and even the quality of their goods. Initially, Quinn heeded his parents' warnings and avoided that end of the garden. Eventually, though, curiosity got the better of him. When Quinn was 10, he snuck to the north wall and examined it, eventually finding a small hole. Peeking through, he was shocked and amazed. The ground was covered in white powder, and the few plants he could glimpse were unlike those in his garden. The familiar patches of orange, red, and yellow were replaced with glittering blues and purples. Though it lacked the green foliage he associated with a healthy garden, he somehow knew this one was just as healthy and beautiful. Reaching through the hole, his hand was met with a cold chill that seemed to hang in the air. He pulled his hand back, scared. It was cold to the touch and looked pale. Panicking, he left the fence, but hid the hole from sight. He hid his hand until it returned to normal. Despite his initial shock, the more Quinn thought about the other garden, the more appealing its chaotic wrongness and terrifying strangeness became. It was scary and dangerous, but that only made it more exciting. Over several months, he reached through the hole again and again. Each time he was injured, it hurt a little less, until he was finally able to touch the white powder. This hurt far more than the wind, causing him to cry out. But Quinn was determined. He balled his fist in the powder, and to his surprise, found grass beneath. He pulled a handful into his garden. The powder instantly melted, revealing grass much darker than his own. It smelled less earthy, more like mint or sage. Tucking the grass into his pocket, he ran back to reassure his parents. The next day, Quinn returned to the hole, but his view was blocked by another young pixie boy. "So you're the little thieving animal Mom was talking about. They got the little part right, but you're no animal," the boy said with wonder in his eyes. Quinn was enchanted. The boy's wings didn't flicker like flames. They sparkled like tinsel. Could this be one of the monsters his parents had warned him about? They got the thief part wrong, too. I never took anything except a little grass, Quinn responded defensively. The boy laughed, explaining that their garden had no grass, only special herbs that needed to be buried in snow. Quinn felt guilty and offered to return the herbs. The boy shook his head, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. He suggested that Quinn pay for the herbs with his name. Quinn agreed, but told him to wait while he found something to trade. The boy nodded eagerly. Quinn searched the garden and found a mildly spicy, bright red herb that he was sure the boy had never seen. He plucked a few and ran back, finding the boy nursing a red welt. Quinn laughed, poking fun at the boy's attempt to enter his garden. The boy dared him to do better. Quinn demonstrated his practiced ease, reaching into the hole. As he pulled his hand back, the boy grabbed it. They gasped. The sensation was intense, a mix of pain and pleasure, though the latter was more like an adrenaline rush. The boy eventually let go, leaving them both panting. Quinn remembered the herb and pushed it through the hole. The boy snatched it up, amazed by its color. They exchanged names, the boy confirming he was indeed a sickle, Caleb's sickle. Caleb didn't seem unfeeling, perhaps just socially awkward, with an unusual sense of personal space. But maybe that wasn't his fault. Just as Quinn's fire element made him hot-headed and blunt, Caleb's ice element perhaps made him closed off and lonely. All Quinn knew was that he wanted to know more. He often snuck out to talk to Caleb through their secret window. They discussed their families, their gardens, and themselves. As Quinn grew older, he watched Caleb become more withdrawn, which worried him. He realized he had developed feelings for Caleb. When Quinn was 12, he confessed his feelings to Caleb. Caleb was shocked and reminded him of what a simple touch had caused. Quinn had to lie to his mother about the scar, but there was more to it than pain. Quinn felt possibility, a means to defy the bubble they lived in. Quinn loved his parents, but he knew they had their flaws. They were temperamental and always looking for a fight. Quinn, while rebellious and hot-headed, didn't want to end up hating Caleb simply for his element. He wanted a peaceful life, where when he threw a punch, it was to protect something, not just for the sake of fighting. He told Caleb all of this, and Caleb, shocked, ran away. Quinn waited, but didn't see Caleb for a year, deciding he needed to get away from his family. With or without Caleb, he buried a note in the barren patch of ground where no herbs grew since he had touched it years ago, and hoped Caleb would come around. Quinn left home. Using the money he had saved, he went to Fairsilver, hoping there would be a place for him and Caleb in the big city. He searched the classifieds and found a cafe called The Hat, looking for a cook. He had done some cooking at home, but lost interest after exhausting all possible combinations of his family's ingredients. He was intrigued by the idea of cooking for ocean-bound clientele. Working at The Hat rekindled his love for cooking. The picky customers allowed him to get creative with dishes, rarely making the same thing twice. The pay was good too. The manager and founder, Samuel Hittop, loved the flavor and spice that Quinn's fire magic added to common dishes like tea and cake. This led Quinn to create his own cake recipe, a more flavorful and spicy variant of the funfetti cake common in the restaurant. During the debut of the new cake, instead of writing the correct name, Sonic Boom Elias Everett, the phoenix decorating the cake, accidentally wrote Sack Broom. Quinn found it so hilarious that he insisted the name be changed. Sack Broom Cake was born. This event sparked a friendship between Quinn and Elias, and Quinn insisted that Elias decorate all his cakes from then on. At his new apartment complex, which Samuel helped him secure, Quinn met Wella Geneva, a Charizard. They quickly became friends, bonding over their shared fire affinity, though Wella secretly harbored a crush on him. A year later, Quinn received a shocking visit from Caleb. He had found the note and apologized for his retreat. Caleb admitted he had loved Quinn since the day they met, but had no idea how to express his feelings or navigate their relationship, especially since their first touch had scarred Quinn. He was tired of suppressing his feelings to please his family. Quinn immediately offered to let him move in, but Caleb declined, explaining that their needs were too different. While he desperately wanted the relationship to work, living together was not feasible. Caleb promised he wouldn't give up, though perhaps someday it would be possible. But until then, frequent visits and extensive trial and error were the best approach. Quinn was frustrated, but knew Caleb was right. He promised in return that they would make it work, and that he would never let Caleb go again. A year passed, and the two grew closer. This did not go unnoticed. Wella instantly hated Caleb, feeling he was stealing Quinn from her. Consumed by rage, she made a terrible mistake. She tracked down and contacted the Sickles, revealing Caleb's location. This caused a seemingly insurmountable rift between her and Quinn. This could not have come at a worse time, as Samuel had just turned over ownership of the hat to a Red King named Neville Luminary. To his surprise, Neville offered to help in any way he could, allowing Quinn to occasionally skip work to help Caleb prepare for his family's arrival. Unfortunately, the Plasmid family had also learned of their affair. Thus, both clans arrived, reigniting their war. They continue to fight both families to this day. After a year of therapy and finding a boyfriend, Mason Hittop, who helped her process her trauma, Wella now Amu apologized profusely and begged for Quinn's forgiveness, having changed her race to escape her bigoted parents. Seeing that she had changed and was in a much better place, he forgave her. She soon became one of Quinn's most loyal friends. Quinn now actively fights, not only against the plasmids and the sickles, but also against those who oppose the ocean-bound races, participating in rallies, protests, and fundraisers. Personality. Quinn has a blunt, forward, and direct way of speaking. This explains his brazen declaration of love for Caleb and his vow to never let him go. His open-minded and curious nature has led him to enjoy the thrills of chaos, even when things don't go his way. Quinn is adaptable and creative, preferring wild and unpredictable situations. This is why he thrives at the Hat, where he can express himself through his culinary creations. This also explains his friendship with Elias, who is obsessed with reinventing himself using his phoenix abilities. Quinn finds Elias' shifting forms exciting. Quinn is fiercely protective of his loved ones, often fighting to defend hatters, kings, and queens alike. Appearance. Quinn's burnt orange hair reflects his fire pixie nature. His equally bright tangerine wings flicker with reds and yellows, as if ablaze. His usual outfit, a tank top and shorts, is both flame and ice retardant. His deep, intense azure blue eyes brighten as his anger rises. Abilities. Fire affinity. Quinn inherited this ability from the Plasmid family. He can create and manipulate fire, using it frequently in his daily life, sometimes to cook at the Hat, other times to deter protesters outside the restaurant. Exquisite cook. Quinn had a passion for cooking from a young age, but lost interest after becoming bored with his family's traditional dishes. He rediscovered his passion, cooking for the Hat's eccentric clientele, honing his craft, and even creating his own recipes, such as sack broom cake, unique skills developed through interaction with ocean-bound culture. Pinpoint flight. Quinn's erratic flight patterns confuse opponents, giving him an advantage in combat. He also uses this skill to navigate the chaotic restaurant. Wild balance. Quinn can balance objects on multiple parts of his body, allowing him to multitask and prepare several dishes simultaneously. Sonic projection. By releasing a cloud of pixie dust, Quinn can project and amplify his voice, making himself heard even during rush hour at the busy, noisy, and often crowded restaurant. That's all for Quinn. A beautiful little firecracker, isn't he? I hope you enjoyed your time with him. Please come back anytime. I'll be waiting to share more of this darling world's characters with you. Goodbye for now, dear.